We're excited. After a year and a half, PocketLab Air is going out there to the real world,
Right.
getting used by customers. And it's been a long road, and it's taken a lot of engineering and design to get to this point. And the idea behind PocketLab Air was to take sophisticated measurement equipment and shrink it down in size, make it robust and portable so that a student could take this and go outside and collect their own data.
What are the different things you can measure with PocketLab Air?
PocketLab Air can measure particulate matter. So these are small particles like soot and dust and smoke in the air, less than 10 microns in size. It can measure ozone, which causes smog, and it can measure that in levels of ppb, so this is parts per billion. And then it can measure carbon dioxide concentration. So carbon dioxide that we produce from breathing, and then other emission sources from cars and factories in the air. And we can pull in that data from the device to our computer using Bluetooth. And then we also take in public data from a nearby EPA monitoring station. So you have your own personal data and you have this publicly available data that you can visualize and do experiments with.
Oh, that's cool. And you said this has been in development for a year and a half. What are the different things that you and the PocketLab team are doing to get this out to customers?
So the development journey starts at a sort of very high level about what kind of functionality do we want to put into this product. And our philosophy with all the Pocket Labs is to make it like a Swiss Army knife kind of tool where it has many different functions that help you in many different situations.
All right.
So the initial idea was, how can we pack in as much functionality around climate science and air quality into what is a relatively small and portable form factor. So after you come up with that high level idea, then it gets into the details about what are the sensors that we're going to use, how do we package it together, what does the case look like, how do we fit everything inside this box, how does air flow through it, how do you hold it. So that's all the mechanical and electrical engineering side of things. And then after that is done, we have to figure out, okay, how do we take this data and send it to our app so that you can see it? How do we make that data understandable for a student? And then in parallel with that, how do we build all of this? How do we go to manufacturing and injection mold the case and assemble the electronics and package it and ship it to the customers?
Right.
So that whole process took about 2 years, and we're finally getting it out there, and users are putting it to the test.
That's awesome. And you did your PhD in mechanical engineering and did research on sensors, but you also have a poster on your wall of a bunch of hand tools. So what was your favorite part of the design process? Is it designing the mechanical case, or is it kind of doing the high level stuff? What do you really like doing when you're in your office with that?
Yeah, the engineering process, it's long, so once you get into the details, it can become tedious.
Yeah.
So it's maybe most fun at the beginning when you're thinking of things at a high level of what is PocketLab Air going to do broadly, before you get into the nitty-gritty details of, okay, exactly what sensor are we going to use and what electronics components and what amplifier, and then beyond that, exactly where does it go and how does it all fit together.
Yeah.
So the high level brainstorming is fun, and then once you get to the initial prototype and have something in your hand after you've been thinking about it for 6 months or a year, and you can hold it and you can use it, then that is also a big milestone. That's fun.
And your favorite color seems to be orange. What was it like to actually come to terms with it, to have a green sensor?
Yeah, color's a hard choice. It's very personal. There's no right or wrong answer about what color you put it in. But we want you to use PocketLab Air outside.
Yeah.
So we designed it to look like it's ready to go outdoors. So the green and gray to mirror sort of nature's colors was the color design concept.
So can you maybe just connect the PocketLab so we can see how it works?
Yes. So we'll fire it up. There's one button on PocketLab Air on the top that you press to make it advertise, and then it flashes red and green, so it's ready to connect. We use Bluetooth to send the data, and we're going to connect to a Mac over here. It connects to a phone or a tablet, pretty much any device. And then when it's up and running, it streams the data in real time, and we can see it come across our screen. So we have particulate matter. These are particles less than 10 microns in size being shown. Ozone in concentrations of ppb, so this is parts per billion. Carbon dioxide. And then we compute an air quality score, which is the kind of data that you would receive on a Spare the Air Day or from the local EPA sort of report.
Right.
And then on this map, we're pulling in station data from our nearby EPA monitoring station. So we have this $100,000 piece of equipment that's monitoring what's going on in the city. And then we have our local data that we can compare the measurements and see how things are different depending on your location.
And what do you think, I don't know, over the next year or something, what are some kind of long-term goals that you hope users can be able to do with PocketLab Air? Some of the other features you have planned and things like that.
Some of the other features we want to introduce, a lot of it's around mapping, because that's really interesting. You take PocketLab outside, you go on a hike, or you go on your commute while you're biking, and you can collect data, and you can see how that changes depending on your location.
Yeah.
So creating different mapping tools that allow you to see what's going on and represent that data in interesting ways will be a big project that we're working on. And then the second big project is to allow a user to share their data with other users so that we can coordinate regional or global science experiments where everybody's out there collecting data on a particular phenomenon, like a wildfire, and then we can pull that data together and come up with trends and new interesting insights that you wouldn't get from just doing something alone.
Yeah. And what do you think, you know, if you're a teacher who gets this, what's like a really kind of cool or interesting thing that a teacher could do with their classroom with the PocketLab Air?
So we have a few hundred users already, and we've started to see pretty cool activities. One of them is setting up PocketLab like a monitoring station in your parking lot and collecting data during pickup and drop-off times and seeing how that changes the air that students are breathing that surrounds your school as cars sit there idling. So that's been a cool one. Some teachers want to use it as like a scanner to see if their students vaped during lunch. I haven't seen any data on that yet.
Yeah, what would be the spike in that particulate matter or CO2?
Yeah, you would see from the smoke an increase in particulate matter levels.
So yeah, that's a good one. All right, thanks so much for telling us a little bit about PocketLab Air.
Thanks. We're excited to get it out there.